Hi, I'm Peter, a product expert here at Upkeep. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to data import assets within Upkeep. Let's take a look at our agenda for today. I'm going to provide a quick overview and demonstration of this so you can get started importing right away. First, overview. Now, with assets, you can import new asset data into the app. You can export currently existing data. And in addition, you can also update currently existing assets using the CSV file method. Now, the max number of assets you can import to your app with the import method is 1,000. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of how this works. Now, if you go into your Assets tab right there, from here, you can see a list view of all your assets. You're going to have something called your parent and your child assets. Parent means it's the main asset, and child assets are components to the main one. And parent assets are going to be underlined, and child assets are going to be not underlined, and it's going to look indented right here. All right, so let's go ahead. If I want to import new assets, I'm going to click on this 3 dots in this box. I'm going to click on import, and from here you click into the middle box to download a sample template, and it'll look like this. So I already have one pre-filled out. So essentially this is how it looks like. Row 1 is going to be your assets title column. This you always want to keep consistent, so don't change or delete this or it's going to cause an import error. Row 2 is going to have sample data, so you can follow along when you're inputting data. You can use this as a guide. Since I don't need that, we can go ahead and delete it. If you're importing your new assets for the first time, like you don't have your parent or child assets imported yet, I'd highly recommend to import these as 2 separate CSV files. One file for parent, one file for child assets. Now, for this example, I've just gone ahead and put both in one file just to make this very organized and streamlined. Now, row 2, that's where you'll see my parent asset, the conference table. And then row 3, you'll see a child asset, which is an engine, because I already have a car asset that's existing. All right, so if you look through these columns, a lot of these are pretty easy to follow. Things like description, model, serial number. That's also synonymous with barcode number. And if you keep going down, things like IDs, these have to exist within the app first in order to find IDs. Things like columns K through P, starting with purchase date through useful life, these are available starting with our Business Plus plan. So if you're on a starter plan, for example, and you put in a purchase date, it's going to cause an import error. So just keep that in mind. And then one last thing, back to the IDs. If I'm importing child assets, I have to make sure I'm putting the proper parent asset ID. So for instance, right here, how I got this was if you click into assets, you can find the parent asset ID by either clicking into the parent asset details and find the 10 characters in the URL search bar, or it shows up as a title column. If you don't see a column for ID on your end, all you have to do is just click on table customization and make sure that this is always checkmarked. All right, so going back to the CSV file, everything looks good here. So I'm going to go ahead and just press save. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go back to the part where I clicked on the 3 dots, clicked on import, and finally, you're going to click on this very bottom box that says import your file. So this one that we just looked at was assets import. And once that goes through, you're going to get a green message that says assets were successful. So let's see how it all looks like. So that first one was the parent asset, which was conference table. If I click into it to see its details, you can see all the information is right there. Things like place and service, purchase price, all that data from that spreadsheet is right in here. All right, let's now take a look at the child asset. I believe that was this one. So it was the engine to the car. And if I click there, just like my other one, all my information is all in here. All right, so that's looking good right there. Perfect. Now, let's say I want to make updates to currently existing assets. If you're updating one or two assets, it's pretty self-explanatory to, go do that within the app. But let's say you have to make mass changes to 40 or 50 assets. The best efficient way to do that is using this update section. So before we use import for new assets, we use updates to make changes to currently existing ones. So this one, from here, you want to click where it says download current assets. And then I'm going to click out of that one. And this is how it's going to look. It's going to look similar to the import sheet, but the main difference is here in column A, it's going to have your IDs for each assets. All right, so let's say the change that I want to make here is right here. So for my child asset for this laptop, it was actually not a wireless mouse. It was a charger instead. So I'm going to make that change here. I'm going to save this in my desktop. So once I've done that, let's go ahead and click on Upload CSV. Okay, so once we do that, you'll get another message that says success. And let's see if the reflected change was made. Perfect. So that change was made right there. Before, again, it was called wireless mouse, but I changed it to charger. So this is, again, very good if you're needing to update a lot of assets at once. Okay, finally, some quick tips for this is when you're importing or when you're updating your assets, make sure that you're going to the correct sections for each. Sometimes people would click here that says export assets to CSV, and then they would use this to import new assets or update currently existing ones. But that would also lead to an error. So just make sure you're going to the proper areas to click on to import, update, or export correctly. All right, well, that was a rundown on data importing assets. If you have any questions or feedback, let us know. And I hope this was helpful. And we'll talk to you soon, and have a great day. Take care.